KLAQ Rock News and sometimes Loudwire correspondent Kevin Vargas with Koe Wetzel. Now, Koe, I really got to say thank you because you're somebody who's famous as a country artist doing outlaw country, and 5 albums later, you got a massive following. But this is the first time you've had a charting rock song with, well, come on. I mean, 5 albums? You've done some stuff before. The bigger question is, other than the fact that Creeps is a song that's charting, it's the first time you've done it. Now, are you leaning more rock or is rock leaning more you? Who's claiming who here?
Man, I think it's just kind of a sound that we've, tried to create for, like you said, like the last 5 albums, and now this album is kind of came to fruition, and it's really it kind of just made itself really. So we've been working on it for a while now, and it finally came out the way we wanted it to. So I mean, it just kind of on its own went into the more rock sound.
Now, the album is called Hell Paso, which has great significance for the residents of El Paso,
Yeah.
because you're out there recording that thing at Sonic Ranch. Now, what came first, the title for the album or Sonic Ranch?
Sonic Ranch came first, and then once we got out there, we're like, "Fuck, dude, there's really not a whole lot to do out here." So, yeah, it's almost like hell, Besides recording music and writing music, it's kind of hell. I think at one point I said they ought to call it El Paso instead of El Paso, and we kind of looked around in the room. We're like, all right, maybe that's the name of the record. So,
well, here's a little piece of history for you. In the 1880s, that was the nickname of the city.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah, this was the gunfight capital of America. You talk about lawlessness. This city is historic for it was too wild for Wyatt Earp. That's why he went to Tombstone.
I don't think a whole lot has changed out there since then.
Yeah, well, out where Sonic Ranch is, I wondered how much inspiration you got looking out into the barren wasteland of the desert and seeing just the critters at night and a lot of stars.
Yeah, man, there's not a whole lot to do out there at Sonic Ranch except for make music and drink a lot of wine. So,
well, if you'd like to get some more inspiration for the next album, and you can expand on the theme a little, just to let you know, you can buy the entire comic book series of El Paso, which tells the story.
I'll have to look into that.
It tells the story of Dallas Studenmeyer, who was the sheriff who fought the Mannings downtown, famous gunfight. So there you go. You notice how I'm working you into doing more El Paso themed kind of writing here?
I love it. And we're going back to the studio in January and February to start up some new music. So yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind when we get back.
When you were here the first time, did you get any time to go out and take advantage of some of the acknowledged world's best Mexican food throughout the El Paso region?
I did. I've been to El Paso a couple of times. We're from Texas, so I've been out there a couple of times. The Mexican food is great, but I got to tell you, the women out there cooking at Sonic Ranch do it best. That's some of the hottest hot sauce you'll ever have, but some of the best eggs ranchero you ever had in your entire life as well. So,
the storyboard for the song Creeps, it's got that tragic ending. It's really just, you could almost see this as a subplot to one of the Walking Dead episodes. Now, are you yourself a big zombie movie fan, zombie comics, Walking Dead?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like a huge fan, but I am very intrigued by it. So, man, I'd had this idea for this video for quite a long time, and then I just didn't have a song for it. Like, it didn't make sense to have a zombie apocalypse music video, for a love song or a comeback baby song, So, man, we had Creeps and we figured everything out, and I was like, man, this is perfect time. So, I hit up one of my buddies in Nashville that's done a couple videos with us, Patrick Toehill. And I gave him the idea, and I had, kind of the outline of it, and he went in and fixed some of the parts. And yeah, towards the end there, we had like 3 or 4 different endings, and that was the last one that we came up with. So it kind of turned the entire video around. Throughout the video, you have one idea, and then at the very end of it, you kind of get, what the hell is this?
Where it's going and how it ends. Yeah. And not exactly good for you. That's the end of your career right there.
Hey, that's true love, baby. True love.
Moral of the story, Koe, is don't be in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, or don't get a girlfriend in a zombie apocalypse. Especially
one that becomes a zombie. That's even worse. Now you're really in trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah, with some of your songs, when I think of, because I've really been now discovering your music more. I had some friends who told me about you long before the Creeps and the whole Hell Paso experience. But with some of your songs, you've got things like with drunk driving, it's all about you got to get out, you got to get away. Good die young, Jesus called, but I didn't answer. What's the one in Money Spent? That's all the money I've spent on you. And a lot of the
Yeah.
lyrical themes with these songs, they're failures and weaknesses. They're like human condition gone wrong. Now, when I hear that, it takes me back, show my age, to 70s Southern rock, the tradition of how that before there was grunge, that angst made its way into music. Are you influenced much by 70s Southern rock?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, the Eagles, the Leonard Skinners, just stuff like that. Absolutely, 100%. Um, but I grew up in the South. My granddad was a huge rock guy. So anytime we were in the truck or whatever, he would jam, Skinner and all those guys. So, yeah, for sure, it's definitely. I'm not super heavily influenced by it, but it's definitely there. So.
Well, we know grunge is there. That's been put in print many a time. How does grunge make its way into your musical influences? What you just said, growing up, you're from Texas, growing up in the South, all the years you've spent in Central Texas, East Texas,
Yeah.
and suddenly, a guy like you who does so much, guitar, you're writing, you're producing, and you are a strong country artist, and now you've got grunge as
Yeah.
part of your sound. How's that happen?
Man, I honestly, I grew up listening to country and all that, like you said, and then in 8th grade, I found out who Nirvana was. I had no idea who Nirvana was. Hell, I thought they were still a band. So, I'm asking for Nirvana tickets, and my parents were like, "Kurt Cobain's been dead almost since you were born," and I had no idea. But having that, finding out who they were and what they meant to me, at this stage of my life, it put me on so much more, grunge music, with Pumpkins and other guys like that, Sonic Youth and stuff. And so I really came, fascinated with the grunge and how they did, the melodies, the heavy choruses, stuff like that, and the way they wrote music because I'd never heard anything like that, and it just put me into a whole different genre of music that a whole new world that I wasn't used to. And so, man, I've always really wanted to do that, and growing up in Texas and having a band, you start off playing country music, I would say, or gospel music or something like that, and man, it was I don't know, it just kind of threw itself on me.
One of your fans, a young and upcoming artist that I'm pretty good friends with, her name is Devora. She does rock, goth, country, and we were talking about your music, and she was like asking me, "I wonder what inspired him to put so much darkness into his country-leaning sound." And I thought, I'm going to use that. Thanks, Devora. I'm using that question. How do you just said gospel? That's about as uplifting as you can get.
Yeah.
Grunge is angst, but
Yeah.
how did the dark themes work their way in?
Man, I just think it's kind of come from life and just things that I've experienced growing up, and just or stuff that my buddies have experienced or things that I've seen, and I don't know, I feel like there's a lot more, maybe not a lot more sad people out there than there are happy people, but I feel like it's easier market to hit, and it's fun to get to put those things out there because people that feel the same way that I do sometimes. And it's good. It's kind of like my therapy, just to kind of get some of that out, and it's easier for me to write on. So
As your music evolves with each album, five in, you said you've already got plans on a sixth one, and back at Sonic Ranch. Is it evolving into a more rock style, or is this just? I guess the question is this evolution, or is this just more experimentation?
oh man, it's kind of both at the same time. Honestly, we're going back out to Sonic Ranch. My goal is to write 2 records. I want to have. I've told everybody for a couple years now that I'm going to put out a country record, like a full-on country record, not one that has, a couple of rock sounding songs, And so the idea is to get out there, knock out the country record, and then get back into, the more rock sound and stuff. But um, I could get out there and the country record doesn't happen. So, I've been out there before and, said to hell with this. And it's like I said, we've been doing it for so long. It's easy to get back into that groove and that sound. So if the country record doesn't happen, then my ass will just be out at Sonic Ranch writing another rock record, dude.
You and Giovanni from Giovanni and the Hired Guns recently bought a steer. Roping, showing, or eating?
Eating, probably.
You're gonna put him in. He's gonna put him in rodeo, and if he doesn't perform, you know where his destiny goes. It's called In My Belly.
In my belly. Shout out Gio. That's the homeboy from Texas, man.
Well, there's a guy who's breaking out big time. Went from an independent, relatively regionally known only artist, and now major record deal with Warner Brothers. And well, who else? Who else should people discover from Texas right now? Here's your chance to spread that love.
Austin Mead. I don't know if you're familiar with Austin Mead, man. He's killing it. Mitchell Ferguson. He's out of Dallas as well, and these are more of the rock guys. Yeah, man. Pecos Hurley, Kobe Cooper, obviously. They're more into the country genre, but yeah, Austin Mead for sure. Y'all need to check that cat out, man. He kills it. He burns up the road. He's got music out the ass, man, and he's just he's a killer, man, for sure. So
The reputation of Koe Wetzel, a party hard, unapologetic, punk lifestyle, busy guy, handling just about every aspect of your music, enjoying a Starbucks latte right now to wake his ass up. So, what the heck do you do when you're not on the road or in the studio?
man, I'm a avid outdoorsman, so I like to get out and either hunt or fish or just kind of get out and enjoy outdoors. But man, lately we just finished up tour. As you can tell, I've got bags under my eyes, and so I'm wore out, man. I've been trying to catch up on sleep and drinking some waters and stuff. Finally, I haven't had a water in years. So tour was hell this year, man. It was a lot of fun, but it took a lot out of us. And we're not 21, 22 anymore. We're getting a little bit older. So man, just I don't know, trying to keep up with the youngins these days.
With your reputation for hard partying and your ability to really crank it out on guitar when you want to be, I can see if Zach Wild decides I'm not going to do this, I got something else I got to do. You stepping in to that rebooted Pantera.
Hey, let's go.
Right there. He's like, I could see the interest. Okay, loudwire.com, pick up the story. Koe Wetzel wouldn't mind playing guitar for Pantera. I mean, who wouldn't?
That'd be great.
Guitarist from Texas, right?
Absolutely. That would be phenomenal.
Well, what legendary rock band would you like to tour with? I mean, not that you need to. You're selling out ballparks, small arenas, big stadiums. You're selling out everywhere. But what would you be willing to take a step back and go, you know what? I want to go out with this band because they're so incredible, and I want to take my music to a whole new audience.
Oh man, I'm probably gonna say Motley Crue. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a huge Motley Crue guy. I read the book. One of my buddies gave me the book. I kind of grew up on it too. My dad was a Crue guy, and so I read the books and man, Tommy Lee and those guys and the way they partied and everything, man. I'd like to see how it was. I'd like to see how it was in their prime, whenever they were younger and coming up and raising hell, man. I think that would have been a whole lot of fun.
Were you born in the wrong generation?
I was born in the wrong generation, man, for sure. Now we got TikToks and Twitters and Instagrams and everything else, man.
Well, that's also helped really launch your career, the streaming aspect of it, and the fact that you've used your YouTube videos. You've got more videos out with storyboards and also lyric videos. I mean, was that just a natural, organic progression of making the music and putting it out there, or was this some big grand design to use social media and get in front of people?
Yeah, I mean, every platform that you can, I feel like you have to use, especially during this day and age where everybody's on social media all the time. It's just easier to get your music out there, and the suggested videos and everything. You get done with the video, another one pops up. So it just like you said, it does. It helps out artists a lot more these days, and it's a lot easier to be found and get your music out there. So,
Now, Ko is not your first name. That's no big surprise. It's on, you can find it online just
yeah.
about anywhere. But Ko's a very famous name. Is that, did your parents say, let's make him very much a Texan musician and name him after
David Allen Coe.
intentional?
Yeah, so it was I was nameless for like 3 days. My mom couldn't come up with a name. I think it was just Boy. They just kept calling me Boy for 3 days, and then she was like, "I want to name him Roper." She was like, "Well, his granddaddy's middle name is Madison, so we'll name him Roper Madison." She goes, "But we really love David Allen Coe, and I want to change the C to a K and name him Coe." And my grandma was, I think there was somebody that had 3 names at the time. She goes, "Well, if he can have 3 names, why can't Coe have 3 names?" So it was Roper Madison Koe Wetzel, and it was no longer Boy. So yes, it was after David Allen Coe.
So the trick is if somebody wants to get your attention backstage and they want you to think, oh, wait, I know them, they should go, hey, boy. And then
Yeah,
you'll turn around
Boy,
and
how we
acknowledge
doing?
that, or they seen this video.
Yeah.
So this thing's got to get posted prior to 2 weeks from now. So we're in the Christmas season when it's been recorded. So I got to ask you, what do you want for Christmas this year?
Oh, a platinum record. Platinum record.
This year or every year?
Every single year. Yeah. No Coe.
Well, you're not hard to please. So the only way that's going to happen is if the fans get their button gear and buy the record. But then again, supporting artist music by buying the product, by buying the merchandise, and by buying tickets is what helps them sustain and have that extended career. So if you are a fan of Koe Wetzel, you now know what you need to do for Christmas this and every year.
Absolutely.